and I'm not exactly sure where I should look. Anyway, there's so many diets out there right now, and there's so many people that I see daily, my Facebook friends, family members, all that kind of stuff that are talking about their diet, the new diet. Like, what's your diet? The main thing to remember is diets are a point A to point B sort of thing. They're a time frame. So you spend one month, 2 months, 3 months, some amount of months dieting, and that means that your body is in a calorie deficit so that you are burning more than you are consuming. And during that time, you might have to make some adjustments so that you can continue on your weight loss journey. But I have found that the last thing you really want to do is, if you are a pro athlete or a physique competitor, then you're going to have you're going to think about this in a different way. But even for you, you're going to have a dieting phase and a maintenance phase. But for 90% of us in the population, if we're just trying to lose weight, or we want to make our body look different by losing weight or losing body fat, then we need to have our body in a calorie deficit, which means we are burning more than we're consuming. That doesn't mean that you have to do tons of exercise. If you hate exercise, I am sorry, but you don't have to do a ton either. But if you hate exercise and you want your body to look different, you want to have, different muscles, you want to show your six-pack abs, then I'm sorry, but you have to do it. If you just want to lose body fat and you want your clothes to look better and you want to feel better because there's less weight on your knees, all that great stuff, totally awesome. You can do that just through a calorie deficit. Of course, exercise has other good points than just making us look different. It does actually add a lot to our bodies. But anyway, if you are thinking about going on a diet, or you're on one now and you're like, oh, it worked for a while, but now it's not working, or it doesn't work as well now. I did it once, and now my 5 shakes a day, I'm just not losing any weight. Well, I would recommend going to Macros Inc. or ifitfitsyourmacros.com and using their calculator to help you figure out how many calories you need per day based on your activity, which includes what activity you do, like 8 hours a day. So if you work and you're in an office and you happen to have to sit most of the time, there's a lack of activity. Doesn't mean that you don't walk at lunch, all that kind of stuff, but it gives you a way, both of those calculators, to get an estimate of how many calories you need to maintain what you currently are at. And then it'll give you some estimates of what you need for your goals, which your goals might be to lose fat or might be to gain muscle. If you want to gain, then you're going to have to eat in a calorie surplus. But most of the time, people are not trying to gain, again, athletes aside. I'm recommending Macros Inc. and If It Fits Your Macros because both of them are just based on calories. So it's your total calories per day for you. It's not what worked for Jenny or Susie or Bobby Lynn. It's what's going to work for you, and it's an estimate. It's going to tell you how many grams of protein, how many grams of carbohydrate, which could include bread, totally, and how many fat. So just as a reference, protein and carbohydrates are 4 calories per gram, and fat is 9 calories per gram. None of those macronutrients are bad. None of them need to be cut out. I highly recommend that if you're going to go on a diet, that you remember it's point A to point B, and you need to have a plan in place for maintaining whatever losses you have so that you can, reevaluate where you're at. Do I like this? Do I not like this? Do I want more? Am I good? And the macro calculators are going to help give you an estimate. You try those macros out for a few weeks, see what happens. You might find that, dang, I'm really hungry, so what I want to do is tweak. I want maybe a little more protein or a little more fat at certain times of the day, and maybe I want less carb, but it's only because you don't need it at the time that you're eating it, all these things. It's not because carbs are bad. It's not because bread is bad. A lot of people are on the food intolerance diets lately. If you have an actual food intolerance, that's one thing. You want to cut certain foods, specific foods out. Don't want the aggravation of gluten or dairy. But most of us, that's not why you're not losing weight or not keeping it off. The reason people diet and they lose weight is because they did the diet, they followed the diet, but they ended the diet and then they didn't maintain. So what are you going to do to maintain and sustain your results? It's not keep on the diet. So if your diet is so restrictive that it sucks every single day, then for sure I recommend trying a macro-based approach where it's something that tells you about how many calories you need per day, and then you are able to manipulate your carbs, your proteins, and fats to see what gets you your best results. The last thing, or the thing I hate to hear the most from people is, I lost all this weight and then it came right back. It did not come back extra fast for any reason other than you did not sustain whatever your deficit was. And maybe your deficit was too much. And you also probably went back to old habits. So, recap. Macros.inc. They have the best Facebook group. They're awesome. I love them. And ifitfitsyourmacros.com. Either one of those websites has a great way to at least start some information and help you get estimates for your calories and your breakdown. And I will say that macros.inc gives a ton more away than the other one, but both of them can give you at least baseline information. And then just remember that when you're on a diet, it starts and it ends. And when it ends, you need to think about, what do I do then? You still eat food. Just if you can, 80% good food, 20, and when I say good, I just mean nutritious, nutrient dense, whatever. And 20% whatever other stuff you love. I love Oreos. I love Superman ice cream. I love wine. Those things, they're not gone. You just have to think about them as and how they fit into your overall calorie plan. That's the only thing. So 80% mostly awesome foods, and the 20% whatever else it is you want to eat. Cheese curls. Tell no one I said that. You all know I love cheese curls too. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day.